Five, four, three, two, one.
Quarantine day number 9,946,304 and 3. Yeah, you guys, welcome to another episode of TigerBelly. Nosotros papaya to you, and you're all listen. I don't know. I'm in an unusually good mood today because I've found, I feel bad for people out there, but I've personally found a rhythm to my schedule. I have a schedule now.
Okay.
And my schedule is you wake up around 3 p.m., right?
He's back at it. He's back being most slept.
I'm so slept. Wake up at 3 p.m., then I'll kiss Changja over here.
That's your mom's name.
Oh, yeah. I'm
That's
sorry.
kind of weird.
Sorry. Kalaka in the cheek, and I'll say, okay, good morning or afternoon to you. And then I'll try to fart on Juliana or let her smell my feet. Like I put my feet on her face today. It was great. And then what I'll do is I'll go downstairs and I'll spend like 8 hours playing The Witcher, Witcher Wild Hunt. I love the game. It's a fun game. I never played it before, and I'm enjoying myself. Then I'll go up. I'll do Peloton. Then
what time do you do Peloton? Tell him.
I do 1 in the morning. I do 1 in the morning Peloton sessions. But then also I have probably one gigantic meal. And last night's meal, ooh, baby, was so delicious. It was what was it?
It was Italian beef ordered from Chicago.
Italian beef ordered from Sebastian Maniscalco. Hey.
With the sauce? With the sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the fucking sauce, you piece of shit.
I'm just hungry, man.
How else does it happen?
Sometimes it's dry.
I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry.
Peppers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it has the peppers. It comes with
it comes with the pepper. I'm sorry for yelling.
Okay.
But last night, my Kuluko, she made the Italian beef, and then she put out 4 buns, because she makes an assumption that Papa only gonna eat 2, and then this little one.
It's
right
not
here,
an assumption. I only want you to eat 2. I want you to eat only that amount.
Only
Anything
that
more
amount.
than that is gluttonous.
Yeah. So then, this was Juliana, and I ate 2, and then I go, put another bun in the oven, baby. And so then I ate 3. And then what happened was my stomach started going like that. And then I went down, played another 3 or 4 hours of Witcher, and then I did then I make, you know what I do at nights is I make bagels with cream cheeses. And she has, what is it, that jam that we have?
It's a raspberry tart.
It's a fancy, like back in the English, the royalty in England, the crown, all that shit. It's that kind of jam. It's so fancy.
Aristocratic.
It's very aristocratic.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. It's not peasant jam. I love peasant jam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's the brand that
Smuckers?
Smuckers. I love the peasant shit.
Peasant jam.
Yeah. Thank you, Flatty. But
You're welcome, sir.
speaking of Flatty, we were. So here's the thing: to exchange. So for me to play all the hours of video games I've been doing, right? I have to give her deep Burke Williams massages.
Oh,
like with the oil and the whole thing, and I do it for a long time.
Well, per our therapist,
we're in therapy.
we thought it'd be a good time to water our grass.
Khalyla are in. We're doing a couples therapy online. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we don't give like too much
All right,
information.
so we're in couples
We
therapy.
thought in the time of quarantine it'd be a good, what better time than to water your own
Dick.
your own grass.
Yeah.
Keep it green.
Keep it green. So
Keep your fields green.
the other day, and this is true, I was giving her massages, and little Jul is sitting there, and we're watching Planet Earth.
Our Planet on Netflix.
Whatever.
Episode 3, Jungles.
Jungles, and which they know a lot about. So do you, Gilbert.
yep, love it.
You guys thrive.
No, 90% of the jungles in the Philippines have been destroyed.
And you guys
Thank
did
you,
that.
Khalyla.
And you guys did that.
And then also a lot of Borneo now because of all the palm oil and the palm trees.
But my question is, if you don't do that, where are we going to put the Starbucks? So anyway, that's my question. So sometimes the rainforest has to go for our Starbucks, but
terrible.
it's terrible. It may be at Jersey Mike's.
You know
Yeah,
what? If the
yeah.
rainforests are gone, you're no longer gonna see your favorite bird of paradise. The one that does like CGI effects and
Oh,
stuff
those
and
are
does
the
the
fucking
dance.
best. Those fucking birds of paradise in
Papua New Guinea.
New Guinea and all that stuff. They, the males, they have to do extra shit. It's kind of like humans.
Except you don't do extra shit.
What do
But
they
I did
do?
it. What you did? These birds are doing it to attract the mate, but once they're together, they act
Yeah.
like pieces of shit. Right. So I already did the bird of prey thing earlier.
Not
Got
the
it.
bird of prey.
Not a bird of prey, but the
Birds of
bird of paradise
Tiny
thing
dancer.
to get you. But once I got you hooked in, then he stops doing all the fancy shit with his fucking wings. You know what I mean?
So like,
So we're watching it.
yeah.
And we're massaging, and an animal came onto the screen.
Okay.
And we all, remember? An animal came on the screen, and this animal was on a tree looking out into the jungle. And we all collectively said, that's Gilbert. And no, honestly.
I'm gonna
did
look
we
this
not?
bird up. I'm
right,
looking
Jules?
this bird up.
We all at the same
Not
No,
a bird.
it wasn't a bird.
It wasn't a bird, unfortunately. Gil.
Unfortunately. It was an old male orangutan.
The one with the facial flaps.
With the flaps. Because he turned this way and it
I was
looked,
going to get the paper. Yeah. But
it looked exactly like you, Gilbert. So I think that, through evolution, you're from the orangutan.
Am I the closest to
Hold on,
the
can
ape
I?
family?
Can you look it up?
Yeah, look it up.
Just put dominant male orangutan.
Orangutan. And it's
Borneo
Borneo. It's definitely
or our planet because he had a name. What was his name? It wasn't Louis.
no, Louis was
A tiny one.
he was like the second oldest kid.
Yeah, he was a little baby.
He's like a teenager.
Rebellious
Yeah,
one.
the rebellious one.
Did you find it, Gilb?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for Louis.
Yeah.
No, not Louis. My God.
Shut the
Poor
fuck up.
listener.
Poor listener, dude.
Poor listener.
Hold
Just
up,
put
pulling it up.
orangutan, man.
I
Orangutan.
God, there's so many beautiful ones.
Male.
They have so much dimension in
But-
their face.
Orangutan male, biggest face.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's all you have to put in.
There, I already found it.
What is it?
Put it up, show
It's
it.
the easiest thing to find, Gilb.
Well, so, hey, some of us have slow internet these days.
Yeah. Just put it on the screen.
I'm putting it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That's you, bud.
Okay. First of all,
there you
first
go.
of all, I don't have side cheeks like that.
Yes, you do. But through evolution, it dwindled down a little bit. But if you look at the face, if you just look at the face, you can see complete. In fact, if I was like a caricature, on the boardwalk, or you go to, you know what I mean? They have those guys that draw, and I would probably draw that, and you would have looked at it, and you went, okay, that was dead on.
I will show you
Oh.
my caricature from Six Flags next week. It looks the guy made it so fucking big.
Yeah.
Oh, Gil, but you know what's cool about being an ape is that you have what humans no longer have because we have monogamy in our culture.
Go ahead,
Is
Khalyla.
you still have a tiny bit of a dick bone, a baculum.
A what?
What?
So a dick bone is something
I
that a
know
lot
what a
of
dick bone is, baby.
No,
I've been
no.
having it since I was
Still, what?
12,
No,
bruh.
you don't have a bone. I hope you don't have a bone. I hope you've evolved.
There's no bone in there?
You don't have a baculum, babe. So
But
basically,
no, honestly, there's no bone in the dick?
you don't have a dick bone, babe. But a lot of mammals
I
do,
don't know. I
like
had one
whales
last
do.
night, I'll tell you that right now. But
You want to hear about the dick bone or not?
that's what we're listening to.
Tell me about the dick bone.
So the dick bone is basically there to like ensure latching so that the woman doesn't get leapt on by like competing males. Right?
Okay.
And so over time, the humans, what I learned is that we lost, well, men, you guys lost your dick bones because monogamy was introduced. So there's no longer that fear of like competing males.
Oh shit! So
But
it's
the
like
dick
a
bone
sword.
is a
It's like
little
sword,
bit,
too.
yeah. It's like it just
Yeah.
ensures latching basically if like coitus has to last for more than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
In for like to inseminate a female. Like whales have really big dick bones still. In fact, my marine biology teacher, who's like my favorite, Dr. Gago, shout out.
Oh, he's the best. I read
He
all his
used-
papers from the college.
He
In
used
the
to
university, Dr. Gago's
Him, yeah, Dr.
papers are
Gago.
killing it.
He used to bring a dick bone, a baculum of a whale to class, and then he could collect them off the shores of California because he was a scientist. And apparently he would put them in like at parties, he would make it like a little stir for the punch.
So let me ask you something about human beings and through evolution. All right. So what you're saying, at one point, did human beings we were polygamists,
Yes.
right? During the caveman days,
Yeah.
right? And then some fool, some jackass caveman says, "Hey guys,
I'm in love.
why don't we just fuck just one girl?" And all the other cavemen went, "What the fuck are you?" But how did that become
A
the
thing.
thing?
Another interesting thing about chimps and maybe other apes as well is that the woman, even though she would make a man believe that, hey, you like, for instance, Bobby, you're my only partner, right? I want you to believe that my offspring is yours, but then because so that you don't kill it, right?
What?
So I fuck everybody. I fuck you, Gilb. I fuck George. I fuck Bryce. I fuck Andres. Everybody.
Andres? Really?
Oh fuck!
And
Good
the
luck with
reason that I do that is a hoeing, like
Are you fucking
yeah,
me?
Yeah.
I
His dick is like a
learned.
pinto bean.
But with the fancy hat. With the fancy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I learned that hoeing is a survival tactic so that you will get the impression that my offspring is also yours, Gilbert, and also yours, George, so that you don't kill my babies.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think also having like those emperors, Chinese emperors who had like 300 concubines, right? And I just I always thought like no, thank you, because that imagine the headaches. You haven't seen one of the concubines in 6 months. You don't call me, you don't write. You know what I mean? I
Classic
saw you
Chinese
with
concubine.
Ling Ling over there at the garden. You didn't even say hi to me.
But they had rankings, babe. First wife, second wife, third wife. They weren't just like, randos.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there were still some randos.
God, it was just the headache. Imagine the headache of having to deal with 300 women.
Oh
And
I
that-
wouldn't be able to do it.
I wouldn't be able to do a couple
that.
husbands.
What's
Yeah.
the max amount of women you think you could live with?
If polygamy was necessary,
Yeah.
the max amount is probably 6 for me.
Oh damn, that's.
But
a lot.
I would have. They would all look completely different. I would have one with like an arm missing, just for variety.
Okay,
You know
diversity
what I mean?
hires.
Yeah. I would have one that's like I'd definitely have a dwarf one.
Okay.
Just for giggles. You gonna write that down? Why are you writing that down?
We can't expect more from him,
Yeah, why are you
George.
writing that down? That's not offensive.
No, for a good thing.
Yeah. What?
Buddy.
it's a
Wait,
it's a highlight.
Who are you talking to? Bryce? Is that Bryce? Or is that
Why are
your
you
little...
picking up Bryce? Why are you picking up Bryce like that?
Yeah. Oh my God! Who is that?
That's
little
Doug's
Frankie.
baby.
Hey, Frankie.
Hey, do you know my name?
Frankie?
Can you say George?
Nate.
George.
Nate.
Yeah.
Definitely called you
Your
Nick.
name is Nate.
That's
Definitely called
Dana
you
and
Nick.
Doug's baby.
Oh, what a beautiful baby! What a beautiful white baby.
I was so happy. He finally learned my name. Closest he could get was George yesterday. Then my fiance's dog walked in. He's like, Harley. So the day after he learns my name, he learns my fiance's dog's name perfectly, and I'm still George.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it. Sorry.
Yeah. One day the truth will come out, and he'll go, Incel.
Uncle Incel.
Uncle Incel.
Damn it.
So anyway, yeah, probably 6. Probably 6. I would.
Wait,
have
hang on. Would you have emotional relationships with all 6?
Oh, I would.
Very important
Because that's the exhausting part. Coming from a previously polyamorous relationship, I have some
True.
advice.
Yeah.
That shit's fucking exhausting. And while It was just a period in my life. I would never do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, no emotional.
So basically, they're just holes.
Well, no,
You want one wife, 5 holes.
Well, there's 7 holes in the human's face, so there's a lot of holes. But is that not true?
Is there 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How'd you?
He knows
I never
his holes.
counted it
Papa
like that.
knows his
I'll
holes.
tell you why. You know how I know? I have a fucking face. That's how I fucking know that there's 7 holes. I have a mirror.
That means there's 42 holes you would have.
I have 42 holes.
2 holes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. No, I probably wouldn't have a emotional relationship with all of them. Yeah.
Imagine how many foot massages you'd have to give a night.
Oh my God, forget it. Just 1. That's fine. It's not for me. Polygamy is not. How about you, Gil?
No.
No way, right?
No. I can't do that. I'm too emotional. I will cry if I just see her talk to another girl.
I'm too lazy.
Yeah. You know what? You know what documentary though I saw? What was that thing that Eric Griffin?
How to avoid a drug scandal.
There's
or
a
something
documentary
like that?
on Netflix called "How to Avoid."
I'm not sure if that's a correct title. Something
a
to that
drug
effect.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. A drug scandal. It's on it's on Netflix, and it's about it's in the Boston area. You know
How to fix a drug scandal. Sorry.
How to fix a drug scandal.
And you know how when people get busted with drugs, it has to go somewhere to be analyzed, right? Because you can't prosecute somebody unless somebody analyzes to confirm that it is actually drugs that they're prosecuting them for. So there are these labs that it goes to. I didn't really know this, but I thought, when you get caught with cocaine, you did like old school and you stuck your, you know what I mean? Your pinky and you did this. Yep, that's it. Now you're in prison, but it actually goes to a fucking lab. And so one of the lab technicians, she from day 1 for 9 years just started doing all the drugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Whoa.
Apparently there's the purest form of every drug because they have to compare the sample. They need the purest forms in a cabinet to compare it with the drugs that comes in. So they have liquid methamphetamines, and this girl would just go in there and just take drops of liquid methamphetamine. And then when that thing lowered, she did what you do when you have a roommate and you're drinking their Sunny Delight. And you don't want them. You don't want them to know that you're drinking their Sunny Delight. So you pour it with water to keep it. You know what I mean?
Keep the levels up. Yeah.
So that's what she did. She put water in the fucking.
But you know how she was next level beast, and this is how I know.
Yeah.
She had pure cocaine, but what she did is she took the cocaine and then she made her own batch of crack out of that cocaine
in the lab.
The lab that she was working in.
Yeah, so she's smoking crack cocaine, fresh, homemade, you know what I mean, authentic, coke fucking crack, and there's no one there working with her because it's late at night, and she's just smoking crack for 9 fucking years.
And then they would, and what ended up happening was that
she got sloppy.
She got sloppy. There's actually there are 2 cases, but eventually they had to throw out all the cases that she had worked on because, she was no longer a trusted technician.
Right.
So all those people that were in prison, even though they were there,
if she was the lab specialist, right? If she was the lab specialist for your conviction, right? 90% of the dudes got out.
Yeah, you'd get out, Gil.
So you're in prison. You're like, oh, that girl did mine, and then your lawyer is like, you're out because there's So unless they retried everyone again without So yeah, but what I was thinking though when I was watching that documentary was I was just like, that's the best job for a drug addict.
I think you would die in 3 months, Bobby. I don't think you'd able to control yourself because she was good. She was not. She did a slow burn over 9 years. Then she got sloppy in the 8th and 9th year. But Bobby would be dead day 2. He would just take all of it.
In a lab coat, they would come into work and I would just be dead with a Bunsen burner, and
I
crack.
love that you know what a Bunsen burner is.
Of course he does.
I'm not fucking retarded, Khalyla.
He went to high school.
But when do you remember like what you use in chem lab?
Because they were like, Bobby, in chem lab, they were like, Bobby, stop sleeping. You got to do the Bunsen burner. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. On that note, I think that we should probably go into our a phone call with a friend.
Hey guys, we're going to take a quick break to share this amazing sponsor with you.
Hymns. If you're a man, you got to do it. Hymns. Your dick and your head needs it.
Yeah.
What's a common issue men face but don't always want to talk about? Think long and hard. 40% of men by the age of 40 struggle from not being able to get and maintain an erection. And I know this from fact, my friends. And as a young man, if I had access to this, right, and I have access to it now, I use it because we need medical people from the medical field to help us through these transitions and these problems. If you're having hair loss or your penis isn't working, and if you want affordable help with professionals, there we go. You go to HIMS. Okay, tell them more about it, Derek. Not Derek. Gilbert.
You're
Hi,
everybody
I'm Derek. I'm a
but
scientist.
Gilbert.
Try HIMS today by starting out with the free online visit. Go to forhims.com/TigerBelly. That's FORHIMS.com/TigerBelly. Forhims.com/TigerBelly. Prescription products are subject to doctor approval and require an online consultation with a physician who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details and safety information. This can cause hundreds if you went in person to the doctor's office or pharmacy. Remember, that's forhims.com/TigerBelly.
Quip for your teeth.
Let's talk about
Go ahead.
let's talk about brushing teeth. 75% of us use old, worn-out bristles that are ineffective, and even more people forget to floss daily.
For me, I was one of the 75%. I used to not brush for days because I just found it to be boring and I didn't like the toothbrush I was using. But I promise you this, my friends, that I use Quip every single night and every morning. It is the best toothbrush I've ever used in my whole entire life, all right?
The Quip electric toothbrush has timed sonic vibrations with 30-second pulses to guide a dentist-recommended 2-minute routine, and there's even a sized-down version designed for kids. Paired with Quip's anti-cavity toothpaste in mint or watermelon, you get all the ingredients teeth actually need and none they don't.
It literally is. Listen, TigerBelly fans, it literally is the only toothbrush I will use for the rest of my life. Tell them more, Gil.
And if you go to getquip.com/belly right now, you'll get your first refill free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/belly. Spelled getquip, QUIP.com/belly. Quip, the Good Habits Company. Enjoy the rest of the show.
So this next guest that we have today is Bill Nye's a protege, if I may say. Okay, he's, as science goes, he's the most scientific, in my opinion. You know, and
He's a friend.
he's a friend of ours. I met him at a wedding.
Oh,
Maybe
cool.
s-
Jessica's wedding. Sorry, George.
who's
It's Jessica's wedding.
Yeah, Jessica's wedding. In your face, George. Right?
I've never met the guy. I could have met the guy.
What?
If I'd been invited, I could have met the guy.
No.
This is
No. You weren't there. But so I met him at Jessica's wedding. He has his own YouTube channel. What's it called?
Veritasium.
Veritasium. And we're going to have him on because I have a lot of science questions. Give me the fucking
Science alert.
questions. Science alert.
Science alert.
Beep, 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 beep. Science alert. This is
You only have very few questions, babe.
Yeah.
But speak from your heart.
All right, so here we go. So let's go to Derek Muller. Bring him on. Get him on.
okay.
Whoa.
There he is.
Yeah.
Look how, for a scientist, look how handsome he is.
Is that a male model? That's
Yeah.
a male model.
Derek, can you hear us?
He can't hear us.
Look at how handsome he is. Look, you know,
think
you know what? You know what? Science people, that's what they do. They stick their finger in front
do
of their
this.
mouth.
They
do this
do.
all the fucking time, right? Science people do. They do this, and then that's what they're thinking.
It's the
You know what I mean?
eureka.
Sometimes
Eureka.
they do this, and they make a statue. You know? He's cute. Look at how beautiful his teeth are too. Those are science teeth.
Don't be a creep.
I'm not
while we're
acting
waiting.
gay. I just want to analyze his face.
Oh, ask
you gotta
about your
describe him for
sexuality.
the,
What?
If you
I
like.
got you. I got you.
There he is. He's in. He's in.
Hey, so give Derek a round of applause, everybody.
What a Zoom rookie, man.
Everybody. Did you say everybody?
I was complimenting the way you look.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're real
This
cute,
is my.
bud.
I haven't washed in 3 or 4 days. Look, so that's what you're getting.
I was giving you all kinds of compliments. I would say you're Bill Nye's a protege of his. I was saying that in terms of science, you're the most scientific guy we've ever met in our lives. So how are you doing during the quarantine, bud?
I'm doing good. I actually kind of lead a quarantine life, during regular times. So this is not a big change for me. So I'm feeling good about it. Yeah.
Do you do it because you're? Are you? How do you agoraphobic? What's the?
No. It's just like I work from home, and we've gone down to being a 1-car family. So my wife takes a car in the morning, and it's basically like I'm just stuck in my house all day, every day, anyway. So
wow.
Yeah,
It's
no
very
change.
similar to how we live.
Yes.
1-car family.
1-car family.
3 doors.
3 doors.
Yeah.
Do you have children, Derek?
He has 2.
I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So
Oh, the miracle of life. Here we have it.
yeah, they're amazing. Then you just end up feeding them and keeping them entertained. So that's basically my life for the last month. I don't know.
Good. I have a lot of questions for you, but I just want to ask a little bit about how you feel of what's going on in today's world planet.
Sorry, Derek. I specifically said I told him that it would be specifically non-COVID related. But go ahead.
No, but wait, hold on. Derek, hold on. If we're gonna have a fucking science guy that knows about science, can I fucking ask about fucking what's going on in the world right now?
Yes, you can.
It's crazy. It's like having a chef on and going, let's talk
We're not
about
gonna talk
fucking
about food. No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
gonna talk about food.
So let's.
So yeah, I mean, like I don't know
you.
where you want to go with the status of the world right now, but it's like I don't know.
I have a simple question. When do you think, prediction wise? This is the last question I'm gonna fucking ask before you go crazy. All right.
I'm not gonna go crazy.
All right. Is when do you think in California that the lockdown is probably going to be over?
I've been strangely optimistic for a lot of this. I feel like my wife is more of a realist. I feel like, a certain amount could go back to being normal in May sometime. Now we're being told that in LA County we could be mid-May. As everyone will tell you, the key is the testing. And as soon as you can test anyone who, or randomly test the population to really get a sense of who's actually infected out there, then it makes sense to start sending people back out there. It is that thing that like South Korea did and like Hong Kong did, which is figure out who's infected immediately or as fast as you can and lock them down. And that just really prevents the spread.
But we didn't do that.
No, we didn't. And I was kind of shocked at the US's response, how slow it was to actually ramp testing up. And there were, tens of thousands of cases for sure before, really anyone was tested. And so at that point, you have to lock everyone down. So that's the stupid part of this is like, if you could just isolate the cases and pull them out of society, almost right away, then you wouldn't have this problem and do really good contact tracing. We don't look like we're there yet. So
it doesn't seem like it. No,
that's the big holdup, I think. So.
Okay. So what you're saying, because I was watching CNN the other day and Dom Lemon said, maybe August, and my eyes almost popped out of my fucking head.
Maybe I'm letting my own like personal I can't stand to let this go on much longer, cloud my scientific judgment of when this should. But I mean, the fact that we can see the cases peaking and we can see hospitalizations going down and deaths leveling off and all that sort of stuff, it's all a good sign. It's all a sign that this is working. You got to think that, it will continue on that trend. But obviously, we don't want to open up too soon. And I think particularly like the Northeast, you got to be, careful up there because there's a lot of cases up there. But
Northeast, yeah. And I think that just one last fucking tidbit is that I think that states like Florida, Louisiana, some parts of Texas, they didn't jump on it really quick.
No.
I mean, DeSantis just last week or a week and a half ago, did his lockdown. You know what I mean? So he let. So we don't know what's going to happen there, but all right.
right.
So enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the U.S. is an interesting experiment where there's no, like, national decision all at once, like there are in most countries. Like here, it's like, and we'll get to see how that plays out. And like each state is kind of its own little experiment. So maybe not for the best, but we'll be able to see what the different strategies result in down the track. So, yeah.
But you know what? You're healthy. We're healthy. We're doing what we can. And
that's right.
And everyone just listen, I love everyone listening right now, and just be healthy and be mindful. And let's just get through this together as the same species, right? We are in the same species, and I want to ask you. I don't know what kind of science is your field of expertise? Because I have a bunch of questions here, and I need to.
So my background is in engineering and physics, but over the last 10 years, I've tackled all sorts of subjects.
Oh,
so you can throw
maybe
whatever
some of
you
these
want
questions I have for you, maybe you have some answers for me.
Yeah, well, if I feel out of my depth, I will just, I'll
well, can you just do the best you can to answer them and as honestly as honestly as you can? All right.
I'm game.
So, I have I'm Korean. I don't know if you know this or not, but
all right.
I am, and
I used to teach a lot of Koreans. I worked at in Australia in Sydney. There was my boss was Korean. It was a Korean tutoring company. Okay, and you would know all about that because in Korea there's like massive skyscrapers that are like tutoring companies, right? Mm-hmm. So I worked on we had the whole floor and we were just like it was like kind of like a cram school. So I spent a lot of time teaching.
Do you speak Korean?
No, I don't. But I could recognize it if someone was like writing it. I would be able to pick out those circles.
I have some Korean I want to tell you. Derek, no, gochu jokome.
Oh, Bobby.
Okay, so I just said
I have no idea what that means, and
I just said your penis was small.
Oh.
But
that's the only Korean he knows.
But it's actually true. So I'm glad you hit the nail on the head. So
he doesn't know the word for big. So.
Yeah.
He's never had to use it to describe himself, so.
Baby, fucking don't be like that. So I'm Korean, and what are your thoughts on me having beard implants?
Yeah. So getting would you transplant the hair from like the back of your head onto your face?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is definitely an option. You could definitely do it. Like, when was the last time you shaved? Just looking at that. Well,
I mean, what you're seeing right now is pretty much the regions where hair grows.
Okay. All right.
Right here is very like Kuwait. You know what I mean? It's very just barren. I don't want to make fun of Kuwait.
No,
wait,
but there's
you
not
said
a lot going on there.
Yeah, like just desert.
It's desert-like.
So desert, right? So there's nothing.
It's a beard desert.
It's a beard desert, yeah.
There's pictures of like old Asian men who have very particular. It can look wise, right? Is that
right?
You could grow into that. You could grow into
but what I want is like a lumberjack full beard. You know what I mean? Like hipsters are doing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my fear is that the hair on your face is not the same as the hair on your head. It's actually it's thicker hair for one thing. So if you did like a transplant, you might end up with like lustrous locks coming out of your face, which might just look weird, man. I don't think it's gonna have a lumberjack vibe. But,
so write this down. Yes, I'm gonna get them.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
Jill's pen. Oh, here, give me that pen over there.
All right. So I have another question for you. I don't know if you know this, but you can't tell, but on my face, I'm getting old, and Asian men, when they get old, they get these gigantic liver spots. How the fuck do I get rid of them?
I had not heard that. Are they really liver spots? Are they sunspots, or what are they?
I think they're suns.
I don't think they're related to like a liver issue. I just think they're called liver spots.
I think it's called liver spots, but they're like sunspots. Yeah.
They're sunspots. Yeah. You know what? I have a few sunspots too. So there's a variety of treatments that you can get. I'm not a medical doctor, but
he keeps asking medical questions.
I got some science.
One thing is getting like plasma injections in your face. This is one way to get rid of them, and another way is to get them lasered off. So to actually get a laser to fire them up and basically burn that tissue off and get it to fall off. It looks nasty.
By the way, Derek, I watched your whole thing with Dr. David Sinclair about aging.
Yeah.
And it was my most favorite thing ever. It talked about how to reverse aging and how you can be biologically 48, but be like truly 30 years old, or be 48 but be biologically older if you don't take care of your body.
And it probably has to do with being gluten-free and eating kale chips and shit, huh?
Not
You know
really.
what? Here's the weird thing about living longer and all the stuff we know about living longer right now. Okay, it's I gotta say it's not encouraging for most lifestyles. Okay, because what you want to do is you want to kind of trick your body into thinking that it's going to die. That's the best way to force your body to conserve itself. So one way you force your body to think that it's going to die is you don't eat. If you went like 5 days and you just drank water, that's a great trigger for all your body's natural defenses to say, whoa, hold up. You know, stuff's not coming in. We got to hunker down. We got to clean up all our cells. So cells that you have that might be precancerous, or cells that you have that might just, you know, be like not the best cells you've got, if you starve them, your body will likely kill them, and that'll likely prevent disease down the track. So one thing that's been shown is, really restricting your calorie intake, at least, you know, for periods of time, that can hit your body. And something else you can do is get really cold. Like go out somewhere and just shiver for a while. That'll help. Or sweating for a while, like getting really uncomfortably hot, so you're all sweating. All of these things are like signals for your body to sort of put its mechanisms into place for preserving the body. Because the idea is like when the times become good again, your body wants to still be there in order to make kids. So that's
so Derek, this is what I've always done. I haven't done it during quarantine, obviously, but like, you know, I go to this Korean spa. And this is not a joke. This is real. I go to this Korean spa, and their cold plunge is illegal. It's so fucking cold, right? And what I'll do is I'll go to the steam room and get as hot as I can, and I'll sit in the cold plunge up to my neck, right? Until I'm literally freezing, right? And I do that process over and over again, and I feel, you know, I've been doing it for years, and whenever I do it, I feel great. My brother won't do it when we're at the spa, but I love that. Would that help me?
Yeah.
Would that help me?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I actually asked this Harvard professor who I interviewed about this. I asked him specifically that question because I've done it too. And he wouldn't give me a straight answer on it. He was giving me answers on, you know, like just being cold or just being hot. I asked him, do you get the benefit from going back and forth? He didn't answer that. So I can't give you the definitive, but like it definitely is getting your body to exercise those, like, you know, constriction of your blood vessels and then dilating. And it's probably good to get your body to sort of do that and get the blood flowing. But there's one more thing I should mention, which is exercising hard, like high intensity interval training. That seems to provide the greatest benefit as opposed to like just going for a walk every day or something like that. You can burn the same number of calories, but if you get on a bike or get on a treadmill and you sprint, so you're basically at like 85-90% of your peak, that's really good for you. And again, makes your body feel like, oh no, we gotta fix stuff, and you know, eating less in general. Yeah. So all those things.
You know, I also read I think I saw a documentary or something a long time ago about in Okinawa, they have like the most amount of people living over the age of 100. And a lot of that has to do with obviously their diet. So it's like, you know, they're eating clean fish, right? There's a lot of older people that still do like spear hunting in the ocean without any, like, old school, you know what I mean? And then another thing was that there a sense of community, right?
Yeah.
It's like people taking care of each other, and the stress levels are very low. You know, do you think that is also a factor?
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to that. Community, huge issue. You want to feel like you're important and like you're valuable and like you're actually contributing something to society. And if you feel that, I think that helps your body, you know, stay in the game longer as well. So I think it's so important for people to have like a purpose all the way through their lives, and if you lose that, that's a real problem. So yeah, community is huge. Yeah, I
think what a killer is, obviously Americans, the diet, 100%. But I think a lot of it also is just in terms of lifestyle and stress and all those things. I think that with the things that you suggested, I think they make complete and utter sense to me. And I think alongside of being happy and also living a stress-free type of lifestyle, right? And also diet, I think that those are also keys. Would you agree with me?
I would. I don't know that I'd go so far as to be like stress free. Like you need some stress in your life to get you like up and doing things. But like being active, I mean, Americans just aren't great at that. And, you know, I was thinking about it myself of like, when was the last time you forgot to eat? It's like, you know, never. I never forget. I eat a lot and frequently. And that's kind of a problem for our bodies because it doesn't mirror the conditions that we would have been living in 10,000 years ago or 50,000 years ago. We would have gone days without eating, no problem, you know, but we never would have gone a day without getting up. You know, we never would have gone a day lying on a couch watching Netflix because, you know, do you know what I mean? Like it's so some things we totally forget to do these days, and it's those sorts of things that'll kill you. But
what I mean by stress, though, I mean it's like if I didn't do things, that would stress me out. Right. What I meant is that, you know, when situations arise, you know, not taking things personally or not like, you know what I mean, getting resentment and hatred and, you know, all those things that like your body stores, all that stuff. Right. Also trauma, to get rid of all that, you know what I mean, as well, I think. Yeah,
I think like really negative thoughts can be negative for your body. Like you can have your mental state definitely influences, you know, the state of your body. So being able to find a way to be positive or to, you know, that's why I think exercise is so important as well, because it allows you to relieve some of that stress and sort of channel it into like a healthy energy as opposed to some sort of, you know, destructive energy for your body. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with you to sort of manage the stress and keep a positive outlook and have good community and sort of good relationships with other people. 100%.
I have also a very I've been pondering because I knew that you were coming on. I've been pondering. I have a real serious question that I need to really ask you because I've been thinking about it for like probably about 2 straight years every night. Okay. If I dipped my penis in radioactive water from Chernobyl, will it grow funny?
Well, it's funny that you bring up this question. So I was in Chernobyl maybe 5 years ago or so.
What?
Yeah, for real.
Wow.
For real. There's a lot of weird stuff that you find out. So I made a whole documentary about radiation, and for that I went to Chernobyl. And there's a river there. It's kind of like a canal or whatever that runs right through where all the power plants are. And there's some huge catfish, like I'm talking 3 feet long, 4 feet long catfish, swimming in the water. And of course, a lot of people will ask you like, oh, is that because of the radiation? Are they growing huge? And the answer is no, it's because no one's killing them and people just come by feeding them. There's a bridge that goes over this canal. And I watch these workers who are whatever, fixing up, you know, they're doing some maintenance so that the whole thing doesn't collapse and explode. And they would bring like half a loaf of bread, just chuck it in the water, and you'd see this catfish come up and in a single bite, just like grab half a loaf of bread. Totally insane. But when I was measuring the radiation levels there, in that particular area, they weren't that much higher than they are like anywhere in the world, like probably where you're sitting right now. So there's a level of background radiation everywhere, and in Chernobyl, by and large, you know, a lot of the places at least that you can go, the levels are low. Having said that, there are parts of forests, for example, that have never been cleared and never been cleaned up after the accident. And they are very high in terms of radiation. So you go in there, you might die in a few hours kind of thing.
No, really?
I don't know if that's true as of right now, but I wouldn't want to do it myself. Like the dose is high. But back in the day, you definitely would have died in those forests. These days,
but you wouldn't recommend if I were like, hey, let's go camping in that forest. You wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't. Recently, there was a forest fire there, and that's terrible because it takes all this radioactive atoms that are in the forest, and it just starts spreading it. So
is that why it's like I read like 16 times higher? Currently because of all those forest fires?
I think so. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like I went in some buildings in Chernobyl, like, you know, I went to this old theater, I went to this old kindergarten. This is what a lot of people don't know is like when you're inside a building, the radiation level is actually not that high because so basically you had this nuclear reactor which exploded and spewed all this radioactive atoms up into the air. And then they came down and settled on everything. But they didn't really go inside the buildings, not too much. So mostly it's outside. But once you're in a building, it's reasonably okay. But that's why areas like forests where it all just settled and just mingled in amongst the forest. That's why, and no one ever cleaned it up. So
are people living? But people aren't living in Chernobyl, right?
Not really, no. But this is, again, some of the weird things that I found out. So this reactor blew up in 1986, and there were other reactors on the site. This was reactor number 4, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But I think they kept running reactors number 1 and 2 until the year 2000. So even though the place was highly radioactive, they would train people in every day to work on those reactors and then train them out. The issue was, like, they needed the power. This was, they were getting a lot of electricity from all these different reactors. So one of them blows up, but they kept going to these other ones.
Wow.
So it's totally
that.
nuts. I mean, the funny thing about all these stories about nuclear stuff, like, you got bit by a radioactive spider or something, chances are you're not going to be get superpowers. Or if you dip your penis in radioactive water, chances are you're not going to get a super powerful penis. Chances,
man.
I know.
It's a bummer.
That sucks.
I hate to
Dreams
bear
of being
bad
an
news.
Avenger.
Yeah.
I mean, just the reality is, like, radiation kills stuff. Like, chances are more likely that your dick will fall off than it'll become some.
Oh yeah, babe, you could kill your own dick that way.
I don't want to kill my dick. No.
No.
It's barely there. So let me ask you another question. Stuff I've been pondering.
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
He's had plenty of time to ponder during this quarantine.
It's what
Is
I'm here
there
for.
any scientific proof that there is an afterlife?
I would say no. Nope.
Oh, shit.
Man, I was this close to becoming a Christian. Oh, damn. I was going to join tomorrow. I mean.
The rapture.
The rapture.
You're
So
just
there
about
are
to
none.
get in. I would say no.
But
No.
as a science guy, are you spiritual or no?
No.
At all.
The trouble is, right, that we are stuff.
What?
The trouble is that we are made out of stuff. And at a fundamental level, we know how that stuff works. And we also kind of know, we don't know how the brain works, but it's a fair hypothesis that it just works by the interaction of all the stuff that's, like, in this section of space right here. All of this stuff together makes me. And so the concept of, like, what happens once that stuff stops working the way it's currently working? And what happens once it starts, like, disintegrating and, dust to dust, that sort of thing. I just have a hard time imagining something that goes on after that. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, we are clearly stuff.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, like, what if we could discover, what if we could find something that wasn't just this stuff? I mean, we know in our universe there's dark energy and dark matter. Those are things we don't understand. And it could be that those things are souls. But let me say the probability of that is basically 0. So, like...
He's good at catching and reeling.
Wow. You had my hopes up for a second.
Like, maybe I've been thinking about, like, what if I wrote, like, a sci-fi novel where we find some other substance, that, like, maybe it makes up dark matter, let's say. And this stuff strangely interacts with the matter in our brain and such that stuff actually has free will. And, like, you could write a story about this.
Oh, that sounds fucking great.
Yeah. So far, that's just crazy science fiction, right?
Now, would it be more plausible that we are living in a matrix?
Personally, I don't buy the whole Matrix thing, but
Okay.
it's possible. Yeah, anything's possible, but it's just like once you create a matrix, it has to be more complicated than everything that we see here already. So it's like you just have to postulate extra levels of complexity on top of it. It's kind of like people who want to postulate a God and be like, well, how did the universe start? And my answer is, like, I don't know. It just started. And they're like, well, that's not satisfying. I have a perfect explanation. There was a dude who just started it. And I'm like, no, because you've added a level of complexity above just everything we see. Now you've added an extra dude. Like, how did the dude get there? You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't solve the problem. You've pushed it back a level. Yeah.
It's the fear of death, how religions start, I believe. I think there was 2 things.
Yeah.
I think it was for powerful people to control people. They use religion to control the masses. You can see that in our today's culture.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's the fear of death. It's like...
And can I offer you a third? A third is there was just stuff we didn't know how it worked. Like lightning, that's crazy. Volcanoes, that's nuts. Rain, when does it happen? When does it not? Like all of this sort of stuff. Like we are like, floating on this tide of uncertainty and chaos. And what do our monkey brains do but try to imagine a reason why everything happens? And to me, that's where you get this.
Wow. It's kind of depressing. I know.
I think it's the opposite. For me, I've always like reveled in the fact that everything, like Bobby is a lot more spiritual than me. I'm an atheist. So I think it's a very romantic way. Like I think of science in a very romantic way. Like how can all those little things create the perfection that is this? Like that to me is enough. I don't need a man up top to have created this. The fact that it created itself is more wonderful than any other concept I can believe in.
I kind of agree with you. It's wondrous.
It is wondrous, but my problem is a personal issue. Is that for me, I've been sober, and in the program that I belong to, we believe that a higher power has removed, this obsession with drugs, and I really believe that in a sense because I don't think about it or it's not an option for me. It's like completely out of my, of my mind and my soul. It's not a part of my life. But my point is that without that factor, right, I might use again, and that's my fear is that there are parts of me that believe what you believe, Derek, but I can't afford to believe that because I don't want to do drugs again. Because I know that I've tried to self-will it, right? And I tried to control it, and it doesn't work for me. The only way it works is if I believe and I pray and I believe that a higher power has removed it from me. And that's, so when it comes to science, and it is a dilemma with me because I'm also a guy that likes to think, and I like to think things through, and I want to be logical and sensible about certain things. And I believe in science, and I think without science, this whole ordeal with this pandemic we're in, we'd be fucked. You know what I mean? I lean toward people like you in situations like this because that's what I really believe. I don't believe in, I wouldn't go to a church like they did yesterday, like a crazy person, right? Right, that's crazy, right? I tend to lean towards science, even though I'm a spiritual guy.
Well, then we should ask Derek your next hard-hitting question.
Which one's that?
Number 5.
Well, this is your question.
No.
This is
The reveal.
Khalyla's question, okay?
Okay,
This is Khalyla. Okay, so
can he get his bones stretched in China?
Bones stretched?
When I was growing up in the Philippines, they used to say that if you were rich enough, you could go to China, and when you're growing up, you could get your bones stretched to make you taller.
Yeah, but that you can only do that. I think when you're younger, you can't do it as a 48-year-old man. What they do is they take
you have the answers. Apparently, he has the answers.
What they do is I looked it up because I was so short all my life, right?
They cut your bone.
They cut your bone, right? And then they leave a gap.
Space it, and you grow to fill it.
Yeah. Can I do that as a 48-year-old man?
I doubt that your bones could grow to fix it, but you could probably have like a prosthetic implanted. It would be hugely painful, but they go and they could give you a fake hip, right? So why couldn't they give you a fake hip that was like an inch longer than your natural hip, and that gives you an extra little bit of height? But I would say it's not worth it, but you could probably.
It's not because this isn't my fucking question. It was her question. She wants to get it done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
Wait. She wants to get it done.
Derek, here's the
she wants to get it done for me, which is fucking bullshit.
Hey, y'all, we're going to take a quick break to tell you about this amazing sponsor that we love so much.
Better help for your mind and soul. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. There's not a better time to use this during quarantine because a lot of us are lost and
The world is changing.
the world is changing. And, Khalyla used BetterHelp last week and along with Juliana.
I use it every week.
Juliana, it really did help her. She feels free and she cried for a couple hours. This is great. You can start communicating with a real therapist in under 24 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's a professional counseling done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's counselor network, which may not be locally available in many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide. Tell them more.
I really like it because it really is not an easy thing to find a therapist, and when I set my profile up for BetterHelp and when I got matched to a therapist, I could read everything that I needed to read about her. There's also a part on the app where you can journal and that your therapist can read. And then you can also text them. You have the option for video. You have the option for calling. And I couldn't rave about it more. I love it. It's affordable, and they also take medical insurance, and they have different payment plans if you can't afford it as easily.
BetterHelp wants you to start living happier today. Tell them the action, Gilly.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today.
I just
Visit
said
their
that.
website and read their testimonials that are posted daily. There is a delay. Visit betterhelp.com/belly. That's better, HELP, and join over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Special offer for TigerBelly listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/belly. Guys, enjoy the rest of the show.
Throughout my life as a young person, I used to look at my parents. I used to literally think, oh my God, I'm so screwed, because my parents were 5 foot tall, both of them, right? And they didn't really have any the physicality. They didn't have the physical, attributes that our society, deems, pleasurable but I always had a lot of great self-esteem issues because of that. But now, in retrospect, when I look at my life, I don't think that I would have survived, especially in the business that I'm in terms of creating the kind of personality that I have. You know what I mean? Because all those life experiences that I have drove me to become who I am today, right? Mm-hmm. And when I look in the mirror now, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't. I love everything about myself, the way I look. I love, I sometimes I look in the mirror, I start laughing at myself. I look at myself and I start laughing because I just, look at you. I say to myself, look at how fucked up and weird you look, right? But I say it in a good way, I say it in a way where I honestly, I feel ashamed that I wanted to change back when I was a younger person.
Now I look like an asshole about the bone stretching thing.
Don't try to stretch him.
But the truth of the matter is, so if I have, I always thought like, I want to breed with a 6'3", lady so that my kids had a shot. But I used to think that as in my early 20s, but now I believe that I don't really care.
Wait, don't short people live longer anyways? Is that true?
This is true.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, to take it back to that longevity thing, like being tall places more stresses on the body. Your heart has to pump, to get the blood up higher, and you need higher calories to maintain all that body mass and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, being tall can be more of a challenge.
Is that why like people with gigantism, they die early?
Again, not an expert, but maybe. Sure, why not?
Look, Andre the Giant, he died early, right?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you are stretching biology to its limits, I think. And, there's a reason why we're not taller than we are. So when you try to sort of scale everything up, everything gets more stress. Your bones have more, weight on them, and your muscles have to move. Everything just gets more challenging, I guess, mechanically.
How tall are you, Derek?
I'm about 5'9".
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
It's nice height.
I was kind of like shorter than almost all of my class growing up.
Yeah.
So like I'm kind of I sympathize with when you're saying like I want to have.
But would you trade physical attributes with your mind?
I don't think so. No.
Exactly.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm delighted with sort of where I've ended up. So yeah. Would not trade for a few inches.
Because I see doofy, good-looking, tall white dudes all the time. Like I go to a show and they're like, "Hey man, you're fucking funny, man," and they walk around. They're like this gigantic no personality. No, they just have just nothing about them that I would deem like, like somebody that I would ever want to hang out with. It's like I prefer dudes like you. I do, man.
Thanks, Bobby. That means a lot.
So, Derek, I want to say that I honestly.
You're gonna ask him about the dick bones?
No, I'm not going to ask him about.
Wait,
Derek,
ask
you want to ask him about? Ask him a question.
Okay, Derek, are you? So I watched Interstellar not too long ago.
Yeah,
I love that movie. How far away are we from that kind of travel in space? Like, how convenient can we have space stations that look like that? Because I need that to happen before I die.
Well, you're going to want to extend your life, I think, if you want to live to see that sort of thing. I put that sort of tech at least, I would put it between 100 and 1,000 years out.
Oh,
maybe further.
Come on.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
guys, seriously, like traveling to a black hole, that sort of stuff, that's insane.
Yeah.
If you want,
man.
look, if you want,
Fuck you're not a science guy.
if you want a spinning circuit, oh man. There's a deep underlying issue here, which is like we got to spend money on space if you want stuff like that. Right now, we're not spending a lot of money on
We have
space.
a space force. Trump has a space force.
Yeah, but like, are they spending the money that they spent when they sent astronauts to the moon?
Yeah.
No,
But
they're not spending that kind of money.
What about the idea? Because I've heard that singularity can happen in the next 20 years.
Okay,
Do you believe in that?
No. You know the guy who's proposing? That singularity is going to happen in the next 20 years? He's quite likely going to die in the next 20 years. There's no coincidence between his sort of like timeline and his lifeline. Like they're synchronized, okay?
Yeah.
This is wishful thinking. Like I am hopeful that maybe I'll get to live a little longer because, you think like, okay, by the time I'm 80 or whatever, where's medical tech at that point? And if I do some of these things like high intensity interval training and I don't eat very much, like maybe I can extend my body so I could live to 80 or 90 or whatever. And by the time I'm 90, like maybe they can extend me to 110 or something. So I'm kind of hopeful for that sort of thing that like I'll get to see a little bit more of this world than I would have, naturally.
But what about like nanotechnology? That's not going to be there in the next 30 years?
Everything's moving. So here's the deal. Can I tell you something depressing?
Please tell me. I like to be depressing shit.
Do you?
Especially during these times. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's already depressing. Fucking add it on, fucker.
So here it is. Like after the age of 40, your chance of dying doubles every 7 to 8 years.
Oh, Bobby.
Okay. So, by the time you're 47, 48, okay, whatever, your chances of dying, not great, not that high, right? You've made a long way. So,
God,
but then the next 7, 8 years, that chance doubles. Next 7, 8 years, that chance doubles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's like the COVID curve in a way. It's just like, it goes nuts.
Oh,
so like, even if you could cure cancer, or you could get rid of diabetes, or like, there's so many things you can get rid of. You can't stop from dying because something's going to kill you. You know what I mean? So that's the problem with exponential growth.
Thanks, man.
So this is where the idea that like aging is the fundamental disease comes in. If you find a way to cure aging, then you don't get these diseases. If you could maintain your body as it is, like take it to the point when you're 40, if you can maintain the body at that sort of state, then maybe you can live indefinitely. But you have to figure out how to stop aging. Mm-hmm. And so that's why like I'm fascinated by that line of research. And that's where I think we have the most promise rather than say like, curing a particular disease or figuring out how to treat it better. Yeah. How do we keep our body at that level? And the key seems to be epigenetics, which was, in that video that you looked at, which is essentially like not just what's happening in your DNA, but what's happening around the DNA, like what's controlling the DNA, which parts are packaged away, which parts are out to be able to be read. So if we can figure out a way to like take that back in time, then maybe you can reset the clock. So
aren't they able to do that with rats now, where like in that video where they were able to take like an older blind rat, put something in it so that it was more efficient and younger performing than a rat much younger than, biologically younger than it?
Yes, they have shown certain drugs and things that are able to sort of reset the clock a bit. I don't think it's like fully there yet, obviously. They were able to say take blind mice, like mice that had gone blind due to old age, and reverse the aging of the eye such that they could see again. Like that sort of stuff I think is really powerful. Wow. But it's hard to do, and to do it to a whole body, really, really hard. And one of the big risks when you try to do this sort of thing is if you try to make things young, one of the risks is you can trigger cancer because you're sort of re-engaging cell division. So it's a fine line between making you live forever and making you one giant tumor. So that you have to go down the right side of that.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot.
Derek, honestly, I really like you, and we would love to have you on again.
We're normally really a very lowbrow, very uneducated podcast.
Well.
So this was a breath of fresh air to have you on and educate us.
Yeah, because I learned a lot. I really did learn a lot.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here whenever you need me. So,
any handles? Do you care if you get followers on social media?
I don't care, but I'm Veritasium anywhere you want to look. So
okay, so everyone listening, please follow this man.
What's a good intro video from your channel that people should watch?
Yeah.
Jeez, I just don't know. If you go to the youtube.com/Veritasium, there's one where I swim in shade balls. Maybe for your audience, that's a nice intro.
For our audience, it's very complex. They're heavy people, all right. So don't be a fucking asshole, Derek.
Yeah, we want the parallel world one.
I'm just going off what you told me.
All right, so give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Derek. You're fucking amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks, Derek.
All right, buddy. Wow, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was far. Is he still on?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting better.
Honestly,
at it. I'm getting better.
That was. We should do more of that. People with different fields of expertise, because, first of all, I want to just say I have a little PCA before I forget. Brendan Schaub knew that I bought these glasses.
Oh, he bought
the same fucking glasses. Exact same. So now he's on. So hey, you're a thief, Brendan. You're a thick thief. You're a thick fucker. But I love you, Brendan. Good luck. Before I forget, also, it has nothing to do with Derek, but I want to talk about Eric Stonestreet real quick before I forget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's happening now is I'll tell stories about Eric, and then people online, listeners, either for Bad Friends or TigerBelly, will try to see if my stories are real. So they'll go to Eric Stonestreet and go, "Hey, did this really happen?" And Eric will answer, right? But 99.9% of the time, it's always real, right? It's always real. And that's all I wanted to say. So anyone that says, anyone listening right now that says, Bobby Lee's stories seem outlandish or they seem like he's making shit up. No. Papa knows. Okay?
Papa's a truth teller.
I'm a truth teller.
Truth
okay?
teller.
So do we have an unhelpful advice or what?
We do, Captain.
Go ahead.
Unhelpful advice with
Wait,
Bobby.
I had one more question.
No. We go to unhelpful advice. Go ahead. Why? What is it?
Okay.
So how I've been watching all these K-dramas, right? And Koreans, they get that cosmetic surgery to give you a
Double eyelid?
double eyelid.
Yeah.
So I was looking at my eyes the other day, and I have 3 eyelids. Do they reward triple eyelids in Korea? And can I catch dick there?
You could be a celebrity probably there.
I have I have very foldy eyes right here.
You can catch dick anywhere, babe, because you have a regular looking vagina.
Oh, that's a good point. So it's not about the eyelids.
Your vagina is very nice.
What the hell is
That's the vagina right there.
Okay.
it? Looks a lot more like this.
Your clit shoots out at the
like
audience?
This. It's like this, but I did this.
It's like this.
All right. It's like this.
But do you know that that's a Star Scout, right? Star Scout's honor, Girl Scout is 3. Mm-hmm. Star Scout promise. I promise to do my best to love God and my country, to help other people every day, especially those at home. Mm-hmm. I forgot the Girl Scout promise.
Mm-hmm. What's this? Fuck yeah. What do we do on time, just real quick?
We're over an hour, Ted.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Very good one. Go ahead.
All right, here's the question. First of all, love the show. You bring a lot of light to people's lives, and it's much appreciated. So I'll keep it short, but I'm 23, and a couple years ago, I was unaware at the time, but bipolar and going through a manic episode without really knowing what was going on. I got approached and was offered money if I would let a guy suck my dick for a good amount of money on camera, gay for pay. I didn't think it through at the time, and I'm sure mania didn't help. I was just thinking about paying rent and being low on money. The video has recently surfaced, and everyone I've met over the years in my life are seeing something that might be taboo to them and opinions might change. So I'm wondering, what's the best way to approach this? Do I just accept it, be open about it, and be willing to talk about it? Thanks for the giggles, Joe.
Let me just let me get it straight. A guy,
Yep.
right, was offered a lot of money to let another guy suck his own dick.
Yes, on like one of those gay for pay porn
Gay
sites.
for pay porn, right? So so let me just, so it's like you paying me for you to suck my dick, Gilbert.
Yes, I'm sucking your dick for money.
But you're paying me to get my dick sucked.
Whoever the agent is.
Hold on. Who's the no, babe? Who's
I
the
don't get it.
sucker and
If
who's
Bobby's
the
the guy.
sucky? You're the sucky.
If am I getting paid to suck your dick?
No.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to get your dick sucked.
Oh, well, that's a win-win.
It's a win-win for either situation, okay?
It's a win-win.
There's your answer, sir.
No. Here's the thing. I just want to say this, okay? Because I've done some shady shit in the past. All right, stuff that not that what you did was shady. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are things that I've regretted. All right. But these are things that I've done in the past that obviously you're not a time traveler. You cannot control your past. The past is the past. All you can do is realize that it's your past. If people love you in your life today, they'll see through it or they'll forgive you. If people are like, oh, that's gross, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you did that 10 years ago, then you don't need those people in your life anyway. My point is that it doesn't really mean anything.
It doesn't.
It doesn't mean anything.
At all.
You know, if you're healthy and you have people that love you in your life and you're living in the moment, which is the only thing that really exists, is the current moment, the being present, then that's it. So it doesn't mean anything.
Remember that shame is also very much an illusion. It's not the truth. What you're feeling right now is probably like people are either going to judge you, shame you, whatever. Those are just decisions that you made at that time. It simply is that you did something to pay rent. There's nothing. I always think of it as, you know, your reaction to it all, how you carry it, how you carry certain truths in your life. And if you don't own it, somebody else will, and someone will hold it over your head. So whether you think it was something that was good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's still yours, and you should own it before someone else takes that away from you. And just be open. And like Bobby said, if people don't accept you because of something like that, then they're shallow, and you don't want them in your life.
Yeah, that
What you
reminds
want
me
is-
of Wardy Gilbert III.
What is that?
This reminds me of Wardy Gilbert III, the Corona meme guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would.
He did this at the time because he was trying to save money to save his childhood home. But it's like,
Guess
Yeah,
what? He
yeah,
saved humanity right now. He's like my
Really
only joy.
Yeah. That dude, you know what's so sad? I've said this before, but he's like, was it Van Gogh that chopped off? Van Gogh was not, in his lifetime, was unappreciated. And this guy, if he knew that he became the biggest meme on planet Earth,
Or the biggest source of joy and laughter.
Yeah, and laughter.
And levity.
It's like, whoever his parents are, if they're still alive, you should be very proud of him.
In fact, you know what? In this room, I think we should have a printed, a framed picture of Gilbert.
Is that his name, Gilbert?
Yeah.
But the
Wardy
thing is
Gilbert
that
III.
Tom Segura is already, people are already obsessed about him. I don't want to,
Well, the whole world is obsessed about him.
love
It's just
him.
like having.
He's in our hearts.
He's in our hearts.
Yeah, there's a framed picture of him in his dick in my heart. Listen,
Nice,
guys,
nice.
I thought that was a very interesting and very nice TigerBelly podcast. I thought that was fluid and delicious, and nosotros and
delicious.
nosotros to everybody. And I really, I miss you guys, everyone listening, and kind of you guys too. And I just wish everyone the best. And we're gonna get through this. But I love you guys, and thank God that we have this. We're a family.
Before we go, I had another burning question
I want to
for
play
you.
Witcher, but okay. Yeah.
So, how does in the Philippines we got 1 week off of school for Holy Week, and you eat binignit, and then you go to the beach, right? But I never understood the Easter Bunny. What's that culture over here, and what does the Easter Bunny supposed to do? Is the Easter Bunny like Santa Claus?
I think it's very Western. I don't think any Asian countries have
Yeah, I
an
think it's
Easter
similar
bunny.
to Santa Claus in that it came from pagan traditions, but and it gives us free things, so we just accept it.
But how? Like, do you leave a basket out? And then all of a sudden you wake up the next morning and then there's gifts?
But you guys know why the bunny, right?
Why?
Because the cave where Jesus was,
The tomb, yeah.
the tomb that he was in. Did you know that outside of because they know where the tomb is, outside of it, there's a lot of bunny rabbits that hang out
I know
there.
that.
You know that?
No.
It's like thousands of them, right? And I don't know what the connection is, but there's a connection there.
I think that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I made it up, but it's fine.
It's good enough for me.
Oh, it's
I
good
made
enough
up.
for
I don't
me.
know where the tomb is. I don't know if there's bunny rabbits.
So,
But,
Khalyla, you've
anyway,
never done an Easter egg hunt.
will you shut the fuck up? I gotta go play Witcher.
No, we did.
I'll leave. I'll fucking leave. I'll
We-
fucking
you
leave
will.
it.
Don't leave, babe.
Yeah, I'll leave my
Talk
thing
about
guy.
the bunny, babe.
The bunny.
Come on. So we would paint the eggs and stuff, but I didn't know that I was supposed to get gifts, and now I feel gypped.
Nobody gets fucking gifts for
From the
fucking
Easter
Easter.
Bunny?
It doesn't. It's not a traditional thing where you get fucking gifts. What the fuck are you talking about?
You know
Thank you
what's-
for listening.
You know what's so fucked up? So when I was, how the tooth fairy, right?
Fuck the tooth fairy, bitch.
The tooth fairy?
No, they didn't mean nothing. None of these things. They're mythological bullshit.
For like a whole month, because I didn't tell my parents that my tooth had fallen out.
yeah.
I stuck it under my pillow without letting them know, and for a whole month, I just didn't get anything. And then finally, I told my mom, I was like, I've been doing this for like 30 straight days, and nothing's under my pillow. And she was like, "Why didn't you tell me?"
Yeah, my dad made. You know what my dad told me? He goes, instead of sticking it under the pillow, he actually did this. He goes, you eat it, swallow it,
The tooth?
it'll grow back. So I ate like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never asked him again, but I'm like, I think he's wrong.
Hang on 1 second. You did not lose 6 teeth at one time.
No, at one time over the for a couple of years.
So you swallowed it like pills?
Yes, would swallow it, thinking that it takes a long
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Yeah, and then I realized, and then I think years later I asked my dad. I go, why did you do that? He goes, I forgot, but you did it. And he laughed. You know what I mean?
Is that why some teeth never grew back?
Fuck you. All right. So anyway, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week here. Okay. Nosotros papaya.
Oh, wait, no, you have a shout out.
I want to do a shout out to Josh and Shelby.
Shelby.
Shelby Matiliano.
Ooh.
They live in Chicago. They come to see my shows all the time when I'm at the Schaumburg Improv.
I don't know if they live in Chicago. Does that say that in the...
Oh,
They've
yeah.
seen me at the Chicago Improv.
Improv.
Okay, good,
assuming,
good,
right?
yes.
And they're both.
Sorry, babe.
And they're both behind the scenes fighting this. They're both nurses in the medical field.
Well, Shelby is an ICU nurse, and
He's a rad
Josh is a
tech.
radiology tech.
That's what I just fucking said. Medical.
Yeah. They're not behind the scenes.
Medical
They're in the
people.
front
They're
of the
behind,
scenes.
in the behind and the front, and in the middle of the scenes.
Middle of the scenes.
Yeah, they're in the midst of it all.
Yeah.
And I want to thank them for fighting hard for us and being in the front lines and the back lines, right? And I want to wish them good luck and thank you so much. As an American to another American, thank you so much for fighting the good fight. Okay? So thank you for listening to TigerBelly, and I'll see you the next time, okay?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.